Hey guys, I'm Sarah, and welcome to my first ever YouTube video. Yay, on this extremely new YouTube channel. And I would like to invite you on a little adventure with me that is going to be all about feeling your fear and doing it anyway. Doing the thing that makes you feel afraid, not just for the fun of it. Although it can be fun, it can be extremely energizing. But no, actually feeling into your heart and letting it lead you where it will. So following your truth, because when you do that, 110% guaranteed you are going to run into things daily that will cause fear to rise up in your body. And I have chosen to challenge myself to feel that fear, to embrace that fear, to love it and thank it for being and trying to keep me safe. And then to embrace courage and step through that fear. Because the truth is, it's never going to go away. There are always, always going to be things that will cause us to feel afraid in life. For as long as there is healing to be done, there is fear to be felt. There is fear of being alone, fear of being abandoned, fear of not being understood, fear of not being accepted, fear, 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 fear. There are so many nuances and varieties and different types of fear. And what they do is keep us little. They keep us living our small lives. They convince us that it is not worth the risk of stepping into our truth. Because to stay little is to stay safe. But to stay little is also to live a half-life. So I invite you to take this journey with me. And I promise you it will be ugly. I promise you it will be messy. I promise you that I will be standing knee deep in my own crap a lot of the times. But yeah, it's worth doing. I am so convinced. So I'm here, currently in a tiny town in southern Ecuador. 2.5 months ago, I packed up my bags, got rid of most of my stuff, took my 4-year-old son by the hand, and we made this journey alone together. Because it has been calling me. It has been beckoning my heart for years. We left Eastern Canada. We left my family. And here we are. Here we are, taking it one day at a time, being overwhelmed with beauty, challenges, so many challenges, being overwhelmed by emotions, being overwhelmed by grace, and learning to sit with all of that as it comes, to breathe into it, to welcome it in, to thank it, and just to let it be for as long as it needs to be, until it's ready to move, until it's ready to integrate. Sometimes that takes weeks, sometimes it takes months, sometimes it takes 5 minutes. Depends on what we're feeling into, depends on where our energy is at, depends largely on our willingness to just soften. Yeah. Because when we're like this, when we're fighting it, when we're in a state of constant tension, we can't let life And if we can't let we can't let things flow, things will not pass through as they are intended to. Our feelings are just biochemical events in our body. They don't actually last that long unless we hold on to them and identify with them, make them a part of ourselves. Then they get stuck. And then they live there for years and years and years. And that's why this journey is often so challenging, because we are feeling the fear that has been lodged in our system since we were born. Because let's face it, for most of us, the moment we were born into this world, the magic started getting pulled out of our lives, sucked out of ourselves. This is when you eat. This is when you sleep. Can't be like this. Don't say that. Act like this. That's not nice. That's too loud. You're too needy. When you cry, this is what happens. This is how I need you to be. This is how you must show up. Do this, don't do this. Do this, don't do this. Be this way, not that way. This is good. This is bad. How the hell are we supposed to know who we are? We have been so encultured to constantly please, to constantly seek to validate something outside of ourselves, to be accepted, to be loved, to fit in, because that's security. But at what cost? At what price? It's a long way home, a long journey back to your truth, to your essence, to the core of what you are. But when you start to listen and you allow that fear to rise up and be felt in your body, and you allow yourself to witness it and to feel it, as uncomfortable as it is, and then to listen to your heart and do that thing anyway. Little by little, you start to uncover little bits and glimpses of that truth, of your essence, of your purpose. You start to feel more connected. Do you ever notice how when you do something that terrifies you, and something meaningful that terrifies you, you often experience this massive surge of energy into your body afterwards? That is because you are connecting to source. You've opened up that pathway that's always there. You just need to open the door by saying yes. Yes, I'm going to do this. I'm going to follow this universal nudge. Despite the fact that I'm terrified, I'm going to step on that stage, sing my heart out, even though it feels like death. And yes, something in you is dying. That's why it feels like crippling fear. That's why it feels like you might collapse and die on the spot, because a pattern in you is meeting its demise when you choose to feel that fear but act anyway. And that's going to look different for everybody, because our purpose here, even though we are all one and we are all connected, the expression of our soul is here, of each and every individual soul is here to fulfill a unique purpose. So some of us are going to be performing. Some of us are going to be stepping in front of a camera like I am right now, which I'm not used to, but this has been calling me for a long time. And I'm ready to feel silly and uncomfortable and awkward and to speak my truth. Some of us are going to be skydiving. Some of us are going to be making that big trip to that faraway place even though we're afraid of flying, even though we're afraid that we won't be able to communicate in a foreign language, even though we feel crippling fear around being immersed in a foreign culture because we've never done that before. Some of us are going to be enrolling in pottery classes or dance classes. Some of us are going to be leaving relationships, starting relationships. It's going to look very different for everybody. And so I would like to invite you on this journey with me, a journey back to our hearts, back to our truths, back to our connection with the all that isness, the universe. It is a monumental task. It's noble and daring, but it requires great compassion and softness. You can't fight your way to freedom. You can't force your patterns into dissolution. Freedom isn't something that can be won. Freedom is already within us. We just need to uncover it. It's been buried for a long, long time for most of us, under a lot of baggage, under a lot of patterns, a lot of fear, a lot of resistance. And the only way back to it is to embrace all of those patterns and all of that fear and all of that resistance, to love them, to thank them for keeping you safe when they had to. And then to keep moving. Keep moving through them, past them. Keep embracing and embodying that courage and acting anyway. And little by little, step by step, we make our way home. Closer and closer to the truth of what we are. And what we are is freedom. What we are is love, pure compassion, pure creative energy. Thank you for coming along.